Conversations with Elders, hosted by yours truly, Louis-Virie Blanche, welcoming you to Glastonbury Radio 432, where we will be TED Talking in tongues with the elders of all ages, all generations, all races, cultures, and creeds. All gender, religious, or political preferences will be honored and encouraged on Glastonbury Radio 432, Conversations with Elders, where it is our treasured pleasure to roll out the red carpet of golden liquid love light to you in honor of the queendom come, soul dancing free to life's heartbeat drum, in honor of mother, daughter, sister, lover, priestess, goddess, friend, sharing the blessings of love's perfect stranger, Deja Vu, welcoming you to Glastonbury Radio 432.
It's too cosmic, much too cosmic for me. Much too cosmic.
Aloha, hola, aho, hello. This is Louis-Virie Blanche, and you're listening to Conversations with Elders on Glastonbury Radio 432. And our beloved Phi brother, Dr. Mosen, is with us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Always great to have you here. Tonight, we're going to do a discussion on paradoxic paradigms. And will you be starting on the civilization, cultivation differences?
Yes. Now, what happens, before we get into this chart here, let's have a very short, brief explanation about the contrast between function and system.
Oh.
Okay. A system, as we all know, is governed by input and output. And then action, Newtonian or Vedic paradigm, action and reaction. They say for every action, there is a reaction. And for every input, there is an output. Now, the ratio between output to input, that's what we refer to as efficiency.
And systems are human created.
Yeah, it's by human assumptions. So I make a lot of system, and all of a sudden you come and find out there is something wrong with it, and you prove, that it's wrong. It has happened to every scientist along the history, except very few of them.
And you were saying earlier that the same assumption was applied to our understanding of RNA and DNA.
Yeah, well, that's a long discussion. We'll get to that today, because that same assumption, as you said, it has been what's the word for it? It has been referred to in our DNA and RNA. Now, if you look at, on the other hand, you have function. Function is correlated to vitality. System has no vitality. We talked about EKG or EEG. There's no vitality in the signature, but my pulse has vitality. So function has vitality. System does not have vitality. That means biological life.
And everything in existence has this biological electromagnetic
everything
essence.
Exactly. Everything in existential reality is governed by function. Now, what is functions governed by? By what? Field and flow, and cause and effect. On the other hand, system was input and output, and action and reaction. So they say action and reaction is equal, so therefore they created that equal sign, equivalation. In the reality of creation, everything is progression. That means fractalation. In the system is fragmentation, because you take a system, you put something in it, it's fragmented in a smaller piece. That's why efficiency is always less than one.
Always less than one.
Sufficiency is way more than one. One wheat becomes 70, one corn becomes 700. You put a seed of a pomegranate, you get about 7,000.
Dividing and multiplying.
Yeah, all the time. So that's the numeromatic that nature is teaching us instead of mathematics that I assumed. If just we have talked about this, it doesn't make sense, and you may laugh at this if I say I have 4.5 grandkids instead of 5.
Right, 4.5 trees.
Yeah, in my
3.
backyard, I have 2.5 kids instead of 3. So none of those designation mathematically can be applied to existential reality. However, numeromatic, 5, 6, 7, complete whole, holistic expression can be applied to creation. So that means creation, everything is in holistic. In my mathematic expression, everything is fragmented. And if it's not whole, it cannot fractalate.
And
if
that fractalization is
whole,
important to everything in our existence.
Yeah. So if it's not whole, it cannot divide and multiply. If you take half of that seed, chop it up, it won't work because it has something called bran and then, germ, which is part of the constituents of that. It has to be in unity. It has to be whole. That's why holistic, food, whole food.
There you go.
That's safe way.
Holistic health practitioners.
Yeah.
So when we go down this, we see that the biological human systems stay in the alkaline realm.
Yes, because it needs vitality, needs energy. That's why if you look at food, for example, we take carbohydrates. Carbohydrates takes less process to process it in the body than it gives us. That's why you notice marathon runners, they take a lot of carbohydrates or sugar. Now, just like salt, natural sugar is absolutely necessary and good, but processed sugar is deadly, just like salt.
Oh.
Now, on the other hand, protein, which is carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, it takes far more energy than it can give us. But in order for protein, to become amino acid for regeneration and renewability of the cell, we need energy. That energy comes from what? From carbohydrates. So we need carbohydrates in order to process protein. Otherwise, the protein is not processed, and according to Linus Pauling, it becomes lipoprotein A, number 1 cause of heart attack and a stroke. It clogs everything.
Should be avoided.
Yeah, but sugar is, if it's natural sugar, like in fruits, dates, figs, it's necessary because that's why you notice carbohydrates. Marathon runners or athletes, they could take it before a run or game or something like that. If they have protein before a game, they have no energy. The people who have no energy because they take a lot of protein and not enough carbohydrates. But
they're
again,
ready for a siesta when they take in all that protein.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, we have to emphasize carbohydrates, just like salt, sugar, salt, any of them, if it's processed, it's deadly. But if it's natural, it's very beneficial. Like, for example, in our stomach, we have hydrochloric acid. Where do we get chlorine? We don't drink chlorine, do we?
Hopefully not. In our toothpaste.
That chlorine comes from
water.
natural salt.
Yeah.
Holistic salt, like Himalayan salt, pink salt.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make sure we have that distinction. So function is with field and flow and cause and effect, and system is input, output, action, and reaction.
So, we've spoken about biochar because the soil that we plant our seeds in is very crucial. Biochar is lime. What are the other ingredients in biochar besides lime?
Well, biochar doesn't have lime, it has carbon. The carbon is constituent of everything in the nature. And carbon is also donor to everything in the nature. That's why you notice when we say biological, that's carbon based. For example, carbohydrates. is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Fat is carbon and hydrogen. Protein is carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. So
Now,
everything
in the periodical table of elements, 666 represents.
If you look at carbon is 6, nitrogen is 7, and oxygen is 8. So which one is lighter? Carbon.
Carbon.
Because nitrogen is 7 and oxygen is 8. Now, where is the carbon? It's in the soil? No. The carbon is lighter than hydrogen and oxygen. If nitrogen and oxygen is in the air, carbon is also there. So the real good carbon by magneticity, a plant absorbs it and bring it down from the air. And when the carbon, you put hydrogen around it, it becomes fat. If you put hydrogen and oxygen, it becomes carbohydrate. If you put carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen, it becomes protein. It is in all plants.
So our plant system, or the function of nature's plants, brings that down to provide us sustenance.
Yeah. See,
and biochar has no lime in it. You don't add lime to your mixture when you're using biochar?
We could not in the biochar, but what happened when we do something called, it's a long discussion, it's another topic. It's called Hugel-Coulter. Hugel-Coulter, when we do that, we use fossilated, really rotten wood, because it hosts microorganism and at the same time hold the humidity. You don't need much water. And then when we add carbon is the constituents of all things. That means it's a donor to every other electron. And then when we put lime rocks, not lime powder, when you put lime there, it induces magneticity because lime is paramagnetic. Dr. Philip Callahan, he said, don't use, for example, he has things, we cannot use in architecture. We use lime, but we don't use granite.
Mm-hmm.
We use marble, but not granite. So these are all different discussions. We can focus on it some other time. Paramagnetic material and diamagnetic material. Paramagnetic material are the material that provide and facilitate the flow of magnetism. So for example, in my wall, I put Glover salt because it's paramagnetic. It allows the heat to go in, but with a specific time lag. But people, when they put what? Insulation, it's a diamagnetic. It doesn't allow heat to move. Heat is magneticity. So these are all different issues in our houses, our food and everything. We have to have magneticity. In some scientists, like Flanagan's teacher, I forgot his name again. Dr. Wanda.
Kawanda?
He was, Kwanda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he talked about negative hydrogen because negative hydrogen is energy. When something is alkaline, it has negative hydrogen.
And that's a very important consideration.
Yeah. So when something is alkaline, it has more electricity. I have a chart. What alkalinity is related to TMP, or the voltage across the cell. It
and
can
the cell
go from
voltage
70.
How many? Is it microvolts?
Well, it's millivolts, which is about 1,000th of a volt. And the healthy body is about 70 millivolts. Cancer is about 35, half of that. So that's why a cell doesn't have energy. It cannot have osmosis. It becomes cancerous. So cancer is basically a very low energy cell.
So to keep our field and flow in phi, we emanate.
Yeah.
We actually create a field that's visible.
Yeah. See, that's why, it's just, and you can see it in somebody's expression. When somebody is happy, all of a sudden you can see it in their field. You can see it in their eyes. There's a voice. Voice has vitality. Sound does not have vitality. Somebody is happy, you can feel it in their voice.
Oh.
And somebody is very sad, you can feel it, the vitality level in the voice is very low, but you cannot detect that in the sound.
Yay for the natural voice.
Yeah. So that's why, again, that's why people who are sick, even if they laugh for no reason, it brings, their vitality up in the emotional pH.
So they can go stand in front of the mirror and laugh at themselves and feel better.
Yeah. Make fun out of themselves. Yeah. It's very healthy, even if it's dumb.
And you'll be a beautiful part of civilization. You won't be part of the cultivization.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, cultivization is basically marketing. Let's say I come and induce a fear in you, or I induce a negative emotion in you, that such and such has this and you don't have it. So all of a sudden I have cultivated jealousy in you.
Oh.
And if I come and say, such and such has 2 million, but you have 1 million, I have cultivated a little negative emotion called greed in you, that you have to catch up with him.
And in the process, you're cultivating my desires.
Yeah. So if I come and say, this guy has this, but you don't have it, okay? And then I have cultivated greed and also jealousy, and sometimes even negative emotion, aggression, oppression, all of that all of a sudden is induced in me. Now, if I have all those fears in me, that because this guy has it and I don't have it, and I have those negative emotion, all of a sudden the fear becomes the source of insurance, because I don't have any assurance. I don't have assurance in myself. I have to insure myself. So I have cultivated in you to buy my insurance now.
You can't rest assured because you need to buy some insurance.
Yeah. But
if you follow the functions of nature, you could have that assurance.
Yeah, but look at the nature, for example. Look at a candle. It has a light. When it lightens all other candles, it doesn't lose its light.
Oh.
And that's how the nature is. A person, he's a giver, or the nature which is all giving to us. Every which way you look, nature is giving to us. It's a blessing. It doesn't lose, the candle does not lose its flame. That's the nature of existential reality.
But that's the vitality, isn't it?
Yeah, because all of a sudden this candle is lightening up 20 other candles, and it's your birthday. Okay, let's say you have, for you, you have 37 candles, correct? 37 is a very
You're not very good at math. It's okay, though.
Yeah. I've calculated. But 37 is
you made another assumption.
Yeah. 37 is a miraculous number. We'll talk about it later. But let us say 37 candles. Here it's your birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here you have light on one candle, and you can go and lighten all the other 36. And they tell you what? Your beloved or your family, they tell you, make a wish and blow the candle. Correct? Because that's the cultivation. But here, I tell you, make a wish and leave the candles to be a light.
Let the light, let the light shine.
Yeah, let the candle live its lifetime.
And how come I only get one wish and I got 37 candles?
Well, you can make 37 wishes.
But how long? I mean, you piqued my curiosity. What's with this number 37?
Solfeggio numbers, right? In music, yes. 3, 6, 9, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a problem with that too. We'll talk about it. But let's say you take solfeggio number. You multiply 37 by 3. You get 1, 1, 1.
Mm-hmm.
And you add 1 plus 1 plus 1, it becomes 3, the number you multiply. Mm-hmm. 37. 37 times what? 6, 6. 37 times 6. it becomes what? 2, 2, 2.
Oh.
And you add 2 plus 2 plus 2, it becomes 6, the number you multiply. It does all kind of gymnastics. Now you go back to what? You multiply 37 by 3.
That was a 111.
Yeah. Now you multiply, you get, okay, I'm sorry, you multiply
9.
it by 9, right? You get what? You get 3, 3, 3. And you add 3 plus 3 plus 3, it becomes 9. Then you might multiply it by 12, you get 4, 4, 4. 4 plus 4 plus 4, it becomes 12. You see that? It goes forever. So 37 is a very magical number.
So it keeps producing these triple master numbers.
Yeah. 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. So if it's 5, 5, 5 divided by 37, so I must have multiplied 37 by 15 to get 5, 5, 5. If it's 6, 6, 6, I must have multiplied 37 by what? 18. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18.
Oh.
You see that? So I assigned you a very good age.
Yes. Thank you.
You can do all kind of gymnastic with it. Yeah.
So in this, when we're looking at the,
since we talked about 37, let me give you one more number, which is totally magical. It's 19.
okay,
We'll talk about that later.
just a little hint right now.
Pardon?
Is there anything, a little hint you can give us right now of 19?
You can think about it, because it increases your curiosity.
Okay, 19 as a very auspicious number.
Yeah, yeah.
That's our homework.
Yeah, for example, if you look at 153, 153 was prescribed by Jesus because his net was, if you look at all the numbers inside 17, you add them together, it becomes 17. I mean, 153. So when the fishers, fishermen, could not find enough fishes, he told them, to do what? He told them, to make a net, which is, it goes, from 17, 16, 15, 14, all the way. So you add them all up, becomes 153.
Is it 153 or not 151?
153. When it's 150, yeah, it's inside of the 17, it becomes 153. That's why they made a net, which was 153 little triangles all the way. And all of a sudden, it blessed. They're fishing. They were able to fish far more in that net.
Now, does that relate to the Vesica Pisces?
No, but what happens, Vesica Pisces is out of a circle, which doesn't exist. So it's not an existential issue. And now, if you go inside 19, all the number within 19, you add them together, it becomes 190. So that's why 19 also plays a lot of gymnastic, very similar. It's a very sacred existential reality in creation, and just like 37.
Now, can that be experienced with empirical observation?
Yes.
So that's not an experimental piece of data. That's empirical data.
The full number, all of those, as I mentioned to you, by Isa ben Maryam, Jesus Christ, his reference to 17. It's called reduction. In 17, you take inside 17, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You add all those numbers together, you get 153.
Oh.
Yeah, you do the same thing with 19. It's 1, 2, 3, all the way to 19. You add them up together, it becomes 190, 10 times what you started. So those two numbers, they do a lot of gymnastics. That's why I said in existential reality, we have numeromatic in mathematics, which is the language expression of fragmentation, 2.63, 5.6, 4.5 grandchildren. It's the what? It's the dialogue expression of fragmentation. So either you want to have fractylation or fragmentation, that's your choice.
It's not found in nature.
Well, the fragmentation, not everything in nature is whole.
And this process, we're to maintain the field and flow and the cause and effect, giving us vibration compared to oscillation.
Yes, the vibration, as we talked here, it has vitality.
Mm-hmm.
Oscillation does not have vitality.
And we get greater and greater with cultivation, we get greater and greater disorder in the processes involved.
For example, a computer doesn't have a mind. It has a brain, mechanical brain, but the mind to operate it is me and you.
Mm-hmm.
It has no vitality. So when it doesn't have vitality, it has no mind. Mind is outside the physical body. It doesn't have a soul. So that's why it cannot vibrate.
Now the mind, there is this idea, some say that all is mind.
Would you say that again?
All is mind?
Well, I mean, we have different aspects of human. We have soul, we have mind, and we have heart, which is all outside the body. But then we have physical faculty, which we refer to it as heart or brain. Brain is like a hard disk. Whatever they cultivate on it, it becomes my behavior, becomes my culture. Because either and there is 3 different ways, we can pick up this subconscious, which is the storage in the brain. One is heretic. Whatever, we have some inheritance, genetic inheritance from our parents. Now, doesn't mean we cannot change it. Let's say my father or my mother had a bad behavior and genetically was transferred to me. That doesn't mean I'm stuck with it. I can change that.
Well, there used to be the idea that anything that was genetically, we had a genetic disposition for was unavoidable.
Yeah.
But that's no longer seen to be true.
Yeah, that is not, even if you could look at it ideologically, that cannot be omnijusticism. But since God is omnijustice, so therefore everything is plemorphic, nothing is monomorphic. It can morph from negative jealousy to let's say generosity, from hoarding to generosity. All this behavior can be modified. We are able to do that. That's why we have a faculty of soul and mind to do that. So the next one is the environment, the field that I'm in. The environment affects my psychological behavior. Because if I'm really a weak person, then all of a sudden what? Then I'm a weak person. I become like a crowd. So what happened is there's a saying here is, let me see if I can find it. Therefore, I become a very weak person. I'm affected by what? I'm affected by the field, environment that I'm in, right? Mm-hmm. I send you a lot of slides, it says, it's better to walk alone than with the crowd going in the wrong direction by Malcolm X.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, so what happened? If I'm a weak person, weak people are very revengeful. Strong people are very forgiving. And then intelligent people, which they work with their mind and their soul, they have ability to ignore and go through polymorphism, fix themselves or fix their associates.
So it's interesting you say the strong have the ability to forgive.
A strong person has the ability to, but if I'm a weak, I become I have negative emotion. Because weak people, sometimes they become revengeful because of the negative emotion they have in me. Because let's say if I'm jealous of you, the jealousy is in me, not in you.
Right.
So who is damaged, me or you? Me. You see that? The nature of things?
You're reaping what you sow there.
Yeah, yeah.
So the idea of being brave enough to apologize, strong enough to forgive, and happy enough to forget.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's why, if I'm aware of my existential reality, I can ignore the negative things in my field, exactly as Malcolm X said, it's better to walk alone than with a crowd in going in the wrong direction. Because if I want to be with the crowd, then I go with the crowd. So I'm cultivated by my environment that crowd provided for me. So this is a very intelligent expression by him. He was a little bit beyond
about the sociopath and the psychopath. Like the sociopath is born,
well,
and the
that's what
psychopath
I'm
is
saying.
cultivated.
We can inherit those by genetic inheritance in the womb, outside after I'm born. But since everything is polymorphic, then it can change. Now, people who have gone through drastic change in their life, is one good example of that is Malcolm X.
Oh.
You see how he reversed? He had all those negative things, but all of a sudden he polymorphed to positive.
He was able to transform and transmute and transcend.
Yeah. And that's the what? That's the mind of the soul, the willpower. If somebody has it, they can do it. If they don't, they can't.
Oh. So by observing oneself, was he being introspective, being aware of self?
Yeah. Self-awareness. First, I'm honest about observing myself. And then I know existential reality by observation, empirical perception. And then I have the willpower to change myself. Or if it's easier, if it's convenient, then I go with the crowd. So therefore, there's a saying, that, for example, a ship is safe at the beach or at the shore, but it was designed to go in the ocean.
So are you sailing?
No, what I'm saying, the function of a ship is to go sail.
To go out, yes, to go out sailing.
But at the beach, it's safe. But there, there's a little risk. So it takes a little willpower and knowledge and all that to conduct a ship, when you go in, what is it called? In the ocean.
Yes, indeed. And the understanding of the ocean, the sky, and the elements around you, there's a whole, a lot of observation has to be done to make a safe journey.
Yeah. See, the willpower, it makes me go in balance, neither to the left or not to the right. Look at a bicycle. As long as you're paddling and going, you have a balance. But the minute you stop paddling, you either fall to the left or to the right.
You need to keep things in motion.
Yeah, you have to keep going. Yeah, so anyway, so that's why we got a little bit off the subject, but let's say civilization versus cultivation. So environment can cultivate me.
Right.
The television can cultivate me. And also the third element is the people I hang around. If you are a very strong person, you can change them for empirical benefits. But if I'm weak, I become like them. So these three people: inheritance, environment, and also the people I hang around, it affects those three things, my psychological behavior.
And that's very important because you're actually taking on the vibratory essence of those beings,
Yeah.
those places where you are.
Everything vibratory is what has vitality. Everything oscillatory is the vitality. That's why the cell phone is down. Cell towers or oscillation destroys vibration. So therefore, civilization is based on function. Look at the nature. A tree is very civilized. It lives with other trees in the forest. They don't fight, or they're not jealous or hateful or fighting with each other. You see, they are very civilized in the forest. All the trees.
They
So
cooperate.
Yeah. What microorganism of the soil help the trees, you know, and the trees helps the microorganism, the symbiotic relation between plant and the soil, which is the top soil, which all of the marriage between geology and biology. Now, so civilization, all you have to do, look at the trees. Never mind what me or you are saying. It's civilization is function and functional paradigm.
Functional paradigm.
Yeah. Cultivation is system and systemic paradigm. And
the more we harmonize with that functional paradigm, the more civilized we become.
Yes, yes. So simple as that. It's not rocket fuel science here. Then civilization is biological. Cultivation is mechanical. I cultivate you to go from 4G to 5G because there's a little convenience. I don't let you see it. So this civilization is existential reality. It gives me assurance. This is Newtonian or Vedic the paradigm. It gives me assumption and insurance. I have to buy insurance. Assurance, you don't have to buy it. It's a blessing.
It's your inheritance.
Yeah, yeah. The trees, they have assurance. You know, okay. Now, so therefore it brings us to synergy, centropy, and sufficiency. System brings us to energy, entropy, and efficiency. Efficiency is always less than 1. Fragmentation of 1. Sufficiency is multiplication of 1 without its whole. Centropy, ever increasing order. Entropy, ever increasing disorder. I have a statement here about Industrial Revolution was an entropical cultivation in the context of illusion of the progress.
And you've spoken about the Renaissance being perceived as a dawning when really it was the sunset.
Yeah, Victor Hugo wrote about that. He said it was a sunset in human intelligence and civilization. Everybody mistook for dawn. Yeah, that's what Victor Hugo, yeah, the French philosopher, yeah.
But this industrialization it started a cultivation of desire that was based on entropy, yeah, and cultivating desire in humanity that's led us to this point in time that we're at now.
Yeah, this is for me, you know, it's Industrial Revolution was an entropical cultivation in the context of illusion of progress. Illusion in progress, that we're going to be more progressive. But the thing is, entropy goes up. So what happens in the future? It's the race between environmental ability, carrying capacity of entropy, and available resources. Because in order to have entropy for a system to operate it, we need temporary energy sources like gas, oil, and all that stuff. So it's the race between carrying capacity of environment for entropy and availability of resources that determines the end of cultivation.
And we're being led to that choice now.
Yeah. So they asked me, what is the end of the things? The end of the things is determined with the race between entropical carrying capacity of environmental carrying capacity of entropy and availability of natural resources. You see, all natural resources is wasted with entropy. That's why we have pollution. It's irreversible.
And there's a paradigm calling us to pay attention to it.
Yeah. Don't apply for the shaft.
Go for the shift.
Yeah.
So as we come to the close of our conversation, what would you like to stress as an important inspiration from the understanding of the paradoxic paradigms that we have to choose from?
Well, the thing is, civilization has vitality. It's vibrational. It has vitality, as I said on the left side. It's vitalized. It vitalizes things, and it has vitalization. On the other hand, cultivation, which is if it's systemic, is devitality, devitalization. And that's why, you know, on the left side, it's what we call it, what? Symbiosis. That means by all things are working together. The other one is what? Antibiosis. Symbiosis, and here we have antibiosis.
Symbiotic, antibiotic, fractalization, fragmentation.
Well, that's why, well, antibiotic comes from antibiosis. Symbiosis, you know, in harmony, you know, in between pitch, rhythm, and then you have to have harmony.
Oh.
Now, when it comes to DNA, you know, that's different. It comes to the pitch, rhythm, and harmony. If it's systemic definition of the DNA and RNA, or it's functional. So therefore, you know, it brings us to cellular function. Here we have cellular systems.
I want to call you on my soul phone, okay?
Yeah. You know, and for that, you don't need any number. You just have to vibrate.
Because, you know, you said friends don't call friends on cell phones.
Yeah. Friends don't call friends on their cell phone.
Cellular phones only. All right, my brother. Well, would you like to share one last thought for the conversation?
To negative people, every solution is a problem.
Oh man, they're going to have some big problems coming then. We got a lot of solutions coming. You might become a manic depressive because we have to come up, the solutions are here, are they not?
Yeah, that's why we call it empirical observation, empirical perception, empirical cognition. We have to activate that because it has been cultivated and it's been devitalized.
And when we do, it becomes a revelation, does it not?
Yeah, exactly. That's why everything in the nature, especially if you wake up at the very dawn, right before dawn, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and look at the stars and everything, there is all kind of revelation available to all people. It's not exclusive to you or me, less or more, and all that is quantitative measure. These are revelation is mostly qualitative and quantumatic. Yeah.
Yes.
It's nothing in life is exclusive. Unless I cultivate it between you and me or others. Then it becomes all inclusive for me, exclusive for them.
That ego goes edging God out, exclusive for me.
Eliminating God out, yeah. Yeah.
Well, may everyone find a way of being all-inclusive and become a part of civilization and use your cellular observations to be in harmony with all of creation.
And the only thing more dangerous than ignorance is arrogance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe find some humility along the way.
Yeah. The humility, if you want blessing, you have to be very humble.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's always a humbling pleasure to have you here. You serve up lots of humble pie.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, we finish the rest of this next time.
Yes, to be continued. The Paradoxic Paradigms.
Yeah.
Aho, my brother. Bless you.
Thank you. And may God and Phi be with you.
Bye, Phi.
Bye, Phi.
Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. The love that I found came flying like an angel through the sky. Knowing this soul deep inside, way back from other times. Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spreading truth and love and light around the world. Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spreading truth and love and light around the world. In the spring of the month of May, we are shunting in the old ancient Spirit guiding us, finding a way to love and trust. Our hearts surrender by purple golden light. We are the healers, spreading the seeds of light. Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spreading truth and love and light around the world. Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spreading truth and love and light around the world. With a loving heart and mind, we're leaving all the pain and fear behind. In our heart of hearts, there shines a love light so divine. Before a bird can fly, it needs to swim in the love light, knowing a mother's love. Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spreading truth and love and light around the world. Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spreading truth and love and light around the world. Ooh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Spread the truth and love and light every funky day and night. All around, all around, all around, all around, around the world. Light as a feather, rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spread the truth and love and light around the world, around, all around, all around, all around, around the world. Ooh, yeah. Rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spread the truth and love and light. Spread your truth, love and light around the world. All around, all around, all around, all around, around the world. Rooted like a tree. With you I feel like a bird so free. Spread that truth and love and light every funky day and night. Love is light both day and night. Round, 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 round the world. Round, 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 all around the world. Round, 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 all around the world. Spread that truth and love and light every funky day and night. Come on, spread, spread, spread it, spread, spread that love, let's spread that love and light now, now. Spread that love and light now, come. Spread that truth and love and light. Spread that truth and love and light. There's an energy, there's an essence. Love unknown to earth, reaching in our direction. Translating dreams into future perfection. Like some new language, without past, present, or future time, for the magic of the moment. Time and time again, tracing sweet inspiration, I sleep in other beds of reality, waking rich with hidden treasure. My soul springs into songs I never knew. Jumping in heart first, hypnotized by the flow, building pyramids of prayer, deep in nighttime energy, without an image to wear. I look in empty spaces, listening to the silence, refreshing myself anew. Holding on to the trance from the inside out, understanding the magic of music between us, living realities where everything that is good. Holding on to the trance from the inside out, understanding the magic of music between us, living realities where everything that is good.
Well, that's it for here and now. But until we meet again, this has been Louis-Virie Blanche thanking you for listening to Conversations with Elders on Glastonbury Radio 432. Bless you.
Quantum physics in the kitchen sink, the energy that follows the thoughts you think. Quantum physics and the cosmic sea, laws of nature too heavy for me. It's too cosmic, much too cosmic for me.